Howdy, and welcome back to the podcast. We are doing a solo episode. It's been a little while since we've been back, so I just wanted to give some updates on what's going on inside of the Ben thinking world and inside of just, I guess, Ben's world a little bit. So here we are. So if you have continued to watch some podcasts, we very much so appreciate it, and I hope that you guys have been enjoying all of the shows so far. We have the biggest new news is this guy right here. Cool. So let me see, make sure I orientate this appropriately. All the Power. It's the new pre-workout. We formulated this myself. I formulated it myself, and so we have some B12 in here, calcium. Calcium's job inside of the process of working out is to help with the sliding filament theory. So it's where it just helps with contractions. It's ultimately what happens. Magnesium also helps with contractions, and then so you can flex harder, pretty much, and also relax faster, which is important for power development. Sodium, we put two different kinds of sodium in here just so that you're nice and hydrated. We put L-citrulline, which is probably the most common thing you see in pre-workouts nowadays. L-citrulline is good for your blood flow and a whole bunch of other really cool things. The biggest thing here is I wanted to create a product that did not make me feel like absolute shit after every single time I drank it. So I grew up drinking pre-workouts. I loved them very, very much, but I did not enjoy lately when I was taking or buying pre-workouts. I felt like I wanted to rip my skin off my face. Didn't really enjoy that experience very much at all. And so I wanted to have a product that did not make me feel like garbage. I also was getting oddly nauseous with, I was getting oddly nauseous with most of my pre-workouts. So like I'd drink it within I drink half of a container of a serving, right? Drink half of a serving, and I would feel just so nauseous that I would end up like either vomiting, and then it was always just like the pre-workout was coming out of my stomach. So there's something that my body didn't like, and I thought it was very stim heavy. And so I wanted to create something that was a little less stimmy, but also most people that I talk to don't like the itching feeling they get. And that itching feeling is related to beta alanine. And so typically we see about 3.2 grams beta alanine inside of a pre-workout. We only have 1.5 grams inside of ours. And the reason was, there are people that don't like that. They don't want to feel itchy. But at the same time, I also realized that beta alanine has a lot of research behind it. And so everything that we put inside of our product is flushed with research. And so I still wanted to include it because I know research shows that it helps tremendously with oxidation of tissue. And so that's why it's in there. So a little bit less itchy, no GI upset, and the flavor is fantastic. We're also third-party tested, so I used to compete for Team USA, so I wanted to come up with a product that I could also, be proud to take. I don't compete for the teams anymore, but when I did, I would get tested by WADA, World Anti-Doping Association, and so wanted to make sure I could find someone that was a GMP, so a good manufacturing practices facility, which is the gold standard inside manufacturing, and also, of course, it is third-party tested by microbiologists at every single point in the process. And so that is what we have, and you can get it at iehealth.co. That's one more time, it's iehealth.co, and you can get your product there. We're shipping all across the United States. Potentially, we'll ship outside of the United States, but I think most of our listenership is in the U.S. anyway. So get yourself a pre-workout that doesn't make you feel like shit, that still provides a lot of focus. So we also have Alpha GPC and Lion's Mane in there to kind of help with that focus. A little bit of ashwagandha to help with the anxiety that some people may feel with the caffeine, and so again, but also ultimately to help increase focus. So 4 total adaptogens that are inside the product, and I think it's pretty amazing. We've gotten a shit ton of good reviews. And so I would recommend that you go ahead and get yourself one and let us know what you think. Again, all the power. It's the best. This is watermelon flavored. We also have blue raz because those are my 2 favorite flavors in the world. Cool. So outside of that, we're almost done with our MBA. Finished the MBA here in December, and that should be fun. I've both enjoyed and not enjoyed working with groups at times inside the MBA, but it has been fun getting to network with a bunch of other individuals. So it looks like we'll end up becoming part of the UNLV's Lee Business School board, and so we'll be a little more involved here in Las Vegas with what's going on inside the business world, which again, for our sake is rather important at this time in our lives. And so we're in the middle of funding rounds with all the power as well. So IE Health is growing pretty well. And so I don't really know what our podcast numbers are at. I have no idea. But I hope that they're good too, and hope that we're growing here as well. And if not, then we probably should put more marketing behind this show. But we don't do a lot of that. So we probably should one day. I could be like a Sean and pay for a lot of, I don't know, clips or downloads. I know that's a thing. But we don't really pay for that kind of stuff. So hopefully we continue to grow. It's been fun podcasting. I think this is the most consistent that we've been since I think we started, really. So we started about 4 years ago, and I have been very grateful for, even if our downloads aren't massive, I am grateful for the fact that I've gotten to meet a lot of really cool individuals, and that it's helped me ultimately work on some communication skills. And I don't think those are skills that ever go away. So thank you to all the people that are continuously listening. Very grateful for you guys. I'm trying to currently channel my Theo Vaughn. If you guys listen to Theo Vaughn, he is one of my favorite podcasters in the world. And Theo is, I love his solo episodes. And a lot of the things that he talks about is just being grateful for the opportunities he's lived in, but also at the same time, things that are going on in his life. And so I also want to provide value in other ways. And so one of those ways is you guys can email us at benthinkingpod.com or benthinkingpod@gmail.com. And you guys can submit some questions. We'll answer any questions you guys have. And then maybe have some guests on from the audience as well. I think that could be really cool, especially if you live here in Las Vegas. That could definitely be something that we could incorporate. So again, that's benthinkingpod@gmail.com. So training has been tough for whatever reason. I feel like as we continue to work more inside of the business or on the business, working out has happened less lately, and that's a little unfortunate. And so trying to do better about being in the gym, staying healthy. I think maybe I had a solo episode. I was definitely 100% sober. And since then, I've also started consuming alcohol, and that has been an interesting ride. I realize that it's definitely linked with some stress in my life. And so as I get more stress, the more I'm likely to drink. And so finding ways to kind of mitigate that is kind of where we're at today. So I've been trying to work out a little bit more. I feel better afterwards. I'm less likely to drink because usually it's late. And I'm also tired, and so I'm more likely to go to bed, but I also just feel better. And so today is day 2 of no consumption of alcohol, and hopefully we'll continue down that road. I also want to be able to find a balance where I can still drink, but not get out of hand. And I just don't know that I have that personality. I kind of envy the people that do, that can manage that a little bit easier than I can. But one day we'll get the hang of it. One day. I definitely worked out yesterday. Deadlifted 455 for 6 sets of 4, and that was pretty fun. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff involved, but it was nice to deadlift again. And so if you guys want to let me know what your favorite movement is in the gym. Mine is definitely the deadlift, and then probably cleans, power cleans maybe, and then probably squat or bench. But I think squat's probably the most complicated. Um, so yeah. Next on the list is the Las Vegas Venom. The Venom has been, so it's a United Grid League sports team, and it's a sports team that I co-own with my partner Paul. Paul was on an episode a little while ago. You guys can go watch his episode. So I don't know how far along ago it was, but Paul Bear is his name, and he was a wonderful episode. And he'll be on here in about a month to 2 months, depending on when this comes out. He'll be in town in September, October kind of area. And so we're going to be doing another podcast episode during that time. But we ended the season with, I think, 2 match wins or something like that, which is not the best, but overall we had probably the best season I think we've had in the past. Communication between ownership has definitely improved, which is always good, and kind of reminds me that having a partner and having a good partner definitely makes a difference. It also is oddly like choosing a business partner is oddly like choosing a romantic partner. And so whenever we go into business, just making sure that you are finding the right partner is important. Because if not, then I would go much more insane, much quicker. The last couple of months, we've been working with a new sponsor for the team, the Lu Xiaojun shoes. And if you guys are interested in getting their shoes, you guys can get them for 10% off using the code Venom10. And they are, Lu Xiaojun is a very well-known athlete, and he is a weightlifter. So they have weightlifting shoes, they have barefoot shoes, and they have trainers. I have not tried any of the shoes, but our athletes love them, and so you can get yourself a pair as well. So we've been communicating with them, going to re-sign them most likely for the coming year as a sponsor for our team as well. And then we have a couple others. I would say one of my favorite is Moose Ridge Nutrition, and Moose Ridge is a freeze-dried, high-protein packaged meal. All you got to do is heat up some water, boil it, put it inside the bag, and then you can eat whatever you get. I got the chicken biryani just recently, and it was absolutely wonderful. I love their stuff very much. And it's high protein, like 60 grams of protein per serving, which is kind of insane. So if you like prepackaged meals, they're a good potential as well. They're meant to be more for like the what are they called? The people who go out and hunt for multiple days, right? They do long hunts. So that could be, a good option if you do that. But I just like it because it's convenient and also very high protein. So that's them. And then last one I think we have is Ion Shoes. And Ion Shoes is also pretty cool. So ultimately what we've done is been able to grow the Las Vegas Venom into a much nicer brand. And then we are working with a new partner that's teaching us a lot of things. We are good at certain things and then bad at certain things. I am bad at being on like the creative side, but then on the money side, I can definitely manage what comes in, goes out, operationally functioning pretty well. And then on the negotiation side, also those are kind of areas that I do best in. And so it's been fun to get to put those skills to work, and then also improve those skills as time goes on. And we're only going to continue to get better. It's potential that the league grows pretty significantly over the next several months. And so we're looking to potentially like maybe even have a reality TV show next year. I don't know that I'm allowed to say that, but I'm going to say it anyway. So it's there's a real cool potential for the growth of the team and growth of the sport. So we're looking forward to that. Potentially a new couple teams coming on board as well into the league from a more professional standpoint, with some high capital coming behind everybody. So that could be beneficial for all of us as well. What else? What else is going on? I am getting married in like 2 months, and that's kind of insane. I think it's a good thing. it's just weird. I think there is this understanding or this like expectation of what like love looks like, and I don't really know that um, that it was really true, like in terms of what it actually looks like. Understanding that there's a lot of like hardships, a lot of good things, a lot of up and downs, but um, at the end of the day, again, having that partner um, is high value, and so struggle a lot in that area for many years, especially during college. But I think we all do, and so it's been fun getting to learn how to be a better partner. I think therapy has helped quite a bit with that, and so we will continue to do more therapy as time goes on, and yeah. I wish I had more things to talk about, but I don't really have a lot today. So I don't know if it's valuable at all, but I'm going to talk about stuff and then we'll see if it goes from there. And if Kylie, you have an idea about something, if you're listening, then any idea would be more than more than appreciated at this point. I've been vaping as well, which is not great and sucks on the lungs, especially when I go for like a CrossFit workout. That's never fun. And so I want to get more into like these kind of things, because at least I'm not smoking, but I'm at least having some sort of nicotine, because apparently my addictive nature has led me to this point. So if you are a brand like Joey or anybody else, they don't sponsor us by any means. They're just in the studio. And so if you guys are like Joey or anybody else that's interested in sponsoring the podcast, then I would definitely, be happy to have a conversation about potentially coming on board. I already have one in, but you know what we're going to do? We're going to get wild. We're going to do two. So what's up? Ah, it's a good one. It's a good one. It's a good one. So for the rest of the year, some big things. Kylie gave us an idea, and I really appreciate that. Thank you, Kylie. For the rest of the year, the main thing that we are pushing for is funding for the business. And so right now we're learning a lot about SAFEs, or simple agreements for equity. If you listen to the last podcast with Justin, you guys can learn a little bit more about what that looks like. And so when we're looking at a cap table or the breakdown of a business and percentage wise, making sure that we're doing it strategically. And so this is my first time doing this, and so it's a learning experience. But looking at, okay, my valuation is X dollars. I'm going to sell it at first funding round potentially here is about $1 million, and so we'll do a funding round for that amount. And then how do we structure it so that I don't lose so much of a percentage that I get diluted? And what that means is I don't lose a significant portion of the business in terms of equity, so ownership of the actual business. I don't have any partners, and so it's just me. So I own 100% of the business. And then as we get ready for this funding round, partners come in on board, and whenever we fund them, or we get the funding, then we give a percentage of that equity away to that company, right? So it's like being on the market, on the like an IPO or a public company. You can go on to your Charles Schwab or Fidelity or whatever, and you can spend X dollars to get 10 shares, and so you own 0.001% of that company as just a retail investor. When we look at private equity stuff or venture capital, then it's the same idea, right? But it's just a negotiation between me and them. And then they, the group of investors, all go in together to get their own slice. But ultimately, it's one contract between me and then that investment group. So they have 200, they have $10 million of capital they're ready to deploy, and they get that from their investors. They send that contract with me. we sell it for, let's just keep it simple. 100%, we give them $1. We take $1 from them, or $10 from them, which would be 10% of our 100%, and then we go ahead and use that capital to grow the business. And then they purchase at a cap or a discount. We are looking at doing a cap, and so whenever we do our next funding round at a valuation, they get a higher percentage of return on that valuation. So they are capped at a $3 million entry point, and then every single time I do another round of funding, they convert at that next round. So let's say you start at $3 million or go to $12 million, they can triple or quadruple their initial investment right off the bat. So it's a thank you, I guess, if you will, because they took a higher risk for coming in on board. But it has been tough. I think, like as we talked about with that discussion with Paul, capital right now is really hard to acquire, and so it's a lot of conversations, it's a lot of potentials, and not a lot of guarantee. So that's the big thing that we're looking for funding, and then to help make sure that funding goes through would definitely be to look at how can we create distribution channels that will allow us to sign bigger contracts so we can guarantee higher revenue for the business, so that I can more easily secure that funding. So the funding right now, or the distribution method, ideally we get into Target, Walmart, and probably not Walmart, but like Whole Foods. But Target and Whole Foods are probably our target markets, and then Vegas Discount Nutrition as well. And so we started those conversations. We have a potential connection here in town to start a conversation with another distributor that works with a lot of large brands. And so if we can sign over that deal, then we need the capital to be able to fulfill that deal. So we have a contract in hand that says, hey, we'll buy 10,000 units a month, which ends up coming at a cost of us of X dollars. I can guarantee you that we're going to make this amount of revenue month over month, as long as we're able to fulfill that quantity of number. And so I can go to an investor and say, hey, I have a contract in hand. My throat is so dry. I have a contract in hand. It's going to generate me $100,000 in revenue a month, which puts me at $1 million, $1.2 million a year. I just need, $250,000, $300,000 to solidify the deal so that I can increase my inventory so that I can actually distribute to that contract. So that's kind of the way it works. So we're trying to set up distribution channels. Obviously, we're online as well, trying to do the DDC, so direct to consumer method. And that method is difficult if there's not enough capital to put towards advertising. And so we're figuring out, how do we balance direct, just ad spend for the business versus spending on like booths and stuff like that. And so it's been a fun learning process, and it's also been a challenging process. So by the end of the year, we would like to be in a couple different stores. We have a potential consignment deal happening out in Texas as well, and so we would like to see that to go through. And then we have a couple gyms in town that we're also going to be doing events with. The next one will be in October 10th, the weekend of Mr. Olympia, and that will be at, I want to get you some information here. That will be at Joe Tepe's gym, and he will be on the podcast here as well in a couple weeks. And he is the owner of the Strip CrossFit. So they're based out of here in Las Vegas. We're going to be hosting an event with them during that weekend of Mr. Olympia on October 10th. If you'd like to, come on out. Check us out. It'll be free for everybody to come out and look and join. Mike Israel will be there as well, so that'll be fun. And we'll have a booth with all the power there. So we're hosting more booths. We're just, again, we're pushing as much as we can onto the product to make sure that we can go to market effectively, efficiently. So that's that there. And then we're looking to re-sign Lu Xiaojun on the Las Vegas Venom side for them to come on board as a year-long sponsor for next year, which would be cool. And then sign a couple new players. We had Daniel Brandon compete on our team this last year. Wes Kitts competed on our team as well, which is an Olympian. And so, yeah, and Dakota Shackleton, Michelle Young, who are based here in Las Vegas. So we are growing the brand pretty significantly. We want to sign a couple more athletes before the year actually starts. So that'll be fun. That'll be cool. And then we'll do a combine event, like a meet and greet for our athletes as well. It looks like it'll most likely be in November at this point. And so we'll be hosting an event here November 1st, 2nd, 3rd kind of range. And we will be doing a meet and greet probably at the Camp Rhino gym. And then we'll also host kind of like a seminar if you want to learn how to do Grid League, which you can. We're just going to host an intro. It's very CrossFit-y related, but it's in teams, and so you don't need to be good at cardio. You can just be good at strength. You don't need to be good at strength. You can just be good at cardio, or be good at only gymnastics and not be strong. And so that's kind of the way the team works. So if you're interested as well for that, you can come out and check us out there. Again, I think that'll be November, and I'll give you guys a little bit more details whenever we come along in the future. And then for personal stuff, getting married, staying sober for the rest of the year, joining the UNLV Lead Business School Board, and then I'm going to be working with Paddle One, which is a new sport that's growing here in town and across the world at this point. But they're based out of Argentina, so I'll be going to Argentina and Chile in December, and we're going to be meeting with the CEO from Paddle One and looking to see how we can continue to grow here in the North American market. They're looking to have about 330 or 300 clubs built here in North America by the end of 2026. And so we're trying to figure out how we can best help them as well and see how we can potentially collaborate there. So there's a couple things going on. I'm also looking at finishing a couple different finance courses. So looking at DCF modeling, discounted cash flow modeling, looking at 3-statement modeling, looking at M&A modeling, just getting more into the finance world. And so just making sure that whenever we do have a sale, just like Justin, that we can take that capital and then ultimately use it to either buy businesses, grow businesses, stuff like that. And so it's kind of weird to say out loud. Not gonna lie, I never really thought I would get to that point or even have that conversation. I never really thought that this was where this would go, but it's looking like more and more reality. So I just want to be prepared, equipped to do it. Justin's side is more of the people-facing stuff. Ben's side will be a little bit of the people-facing side, but also some analysis, like the actual analysis of the businesses and whether we should do deals or not, and how do we make offers. Even if I'm not directly associated with like the logistical side of understanding those things or making those calculations, I definitely want to be able to read a cash flow statement and stuff like that. Financial, making sure that financial projections make sense so that whenever they do get presented to me, I know how to analyze them. So we're doing Wall Street prep. We're doing CFIs or corporate financial institutes, financial modeling courses, business intelligence courses. And so we're in a mode of learning. And I think that the mode of the learning never really stops. But that's kind of what we got going on right now. So I wanted to do 30 minutes. We're at about 30 minutes. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and please email me at benthinkingpod@gmail.com, and then go get yourself some All the Power, and you can find that at iehealth.co. It's a great product. We have watermelon, blue raz. Go ahead and find you some stuff. Thank you. Love you. Goodbye.